Namaste. Welcome to yoga. Just a reminder to listen to your body, remembering to breathe. And yoga breath is simply a breath in and a breath out. To listen to your body, rest when needed, grab water whenever you need, and modify to protect your body. We're going to start in Shavasana on our backs. So laying on our backs, you're going to come to rest the upper back with your head on the mat, resting your feet out comfortably. If you have issues with your back, an option is to bend your knees. It takes pressure off that low back. We're going to take a moment here as you roll your shoulders back to let your shoulder blades come in contact with the mat, hands down to your sides, and pull your belly button in. Eyes can be opened or closed. So just a moment to really feel your mat. Check into how maybe a shoulder feels or a back, maybe a knee. And then from Shavasana, or corpse pose, we're going to slowly bring your knees in towards your chest, reaching around and grabbing along your shins or beneath your knees, and just easy rocking side to side. Just easy transition. Then we're going to roll ourselves over to which side, it does not matter which side, and use that as a transition up to a seated position. We're going to come to sit and legs crossed, both sit bones anchored, roll your shoulders back, and have your ears over shoulders, shoulders over spine. So this is seated mountain position. Abs engaged, ears away from your shoulders. So let the shoulders drop down. Then from here, inhale, circle, sweep up. Take a look at your fingertips as they reach the ceiling. We do easy twist to the right, keeping both sit bones anchored, but not trying to over-rotate that right shoulder. We're gonna come back to neutral, inhale, circle, sweep up, and breath out, back to the left. Once again, both sit bones anchored, and try not to roll that left shoulder back too far. Inhale, circle, sweep up. Once again, we're gonna come to the right. Inhale, circle, sweep up. Once again to the left. Inhale, circle, sweep up. Hands at heart center. And we're going to come to a tabletop position. So hands and knees, hands shoulder width apart, knees hip level apart, and come to rest on the top of your feet. From here, bend your elbows slightly, meaning that those muscles to support the elbows are going to be engaged. It's easy to lock them, but then the muscles don't need to do as much work. Now pull your abs in, really being aware of engaging your core. We're going to bring right arm, left leg off the mat for spinal balance. Try to bring your left leg parallel off the mat. And try not to roll to that right hip too much. So re-level. Then we're going to come back to tabletop, hands and knees, and switch. Left arm, right leg. Back to tabletop. Inhale, right arm, left leg. Back to tabletop. Inhale, left arm, right leg. Back to tabletop. Inhale, right arm, left leg. Back to tabletop. Now we're going to tuck your toes under, bring your knees up the mat, here's hovering tabletop. It's a lot of engagement of your core, and back up to downward facing dog. So just shift the weight back in the balls of your feet, a chance to stretch your fascia, and then just roll your shoulders back down your spine a bit. Then we're going to walk your hands back to join your feet. As many hand steps as you need for forward fold. Fingertips on the mat, hands on your shins or grab opposite elbows. We're going to let your head hang. So take a look behind you. Space between your legs, so you can kind of yes and no. We're going to bend your knees, inhale, circle, sweep up. Hands at heart center. We're going to bend your knees and your hips. Here's forward fold. Pausing for a moment. Then once more, inhale, circle, sweep up. So bend your knees, reaching through your fingertips to the ceiling. Hands at heart center. We're going to bend your knees and your hips. Here's forward fold once again. Pausing for a moment. Hands wherever's comfortable for you. Then inhale, circle, sweep up. Hands at heart center. Fingers back up towards the ceiling, and then we're going to bring your arms on either side of your ears. Tuck your tailbone under and sit in a neutral position. So here's tall mountain. Fingertips reaching high to the ceiling, but draw your shoulders down. Tuck the tailbone under and root it equally through your right foot and left foot. Now we're going to shift the weight back from where the balls of your feet, so your toes are feel free to wiggle, and sitting back down in a chair. So just drop the weight back in the balls of your feet. Think about where your knees are tracking. They tend to track inward. Turn them out slightly. Then we're going to press up to tall mountain, with or without a back bend, and sitting back down in a chair. So let your toes wiggle, sinking through your knees and your hips. Arms are going to stay long. Feel free to bring your fingertips to the ceiling. If this is uncomfortable, bring your hands at our center. So your choice. Then we're going to press back to tall mountain, remembering to breathe. We're going to come back into the chair and come back to forward fold. So bring your fingertips back down towards the mat on your shins or opposite elbows. We're going to take a gaze up towards the top of your mat and walk those hands forward. Just walk forward into plank, hands shoulder width apart, and extend those feet back. Then from plank, we're going to come back to 4-point step straight down the mat, Big toes together, come back into child's pose. So here is our second resting pose, whereas mountain was our first resting pose. Feel free to come to these poses anytime you like. Resting pose, yes, but it's still active. So your hands are still reaching forward and pull your shoulders blades back. A chance to stretch the upper back. Then, when you're ready, we're gonna come forward to plank, on your knees, or off. 4-point step, straight down the mat. Squeeze your elbows in using your triceps, and back into child's pose. This time, we're gonna tuck your toes in and come back to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, we're gonna walk those hands back to join your feet. So we're just getting the body to move, still warming up. Here's forward fold. Walk those hands up your legs. Into mountain. So drop the shoulders back, bring your ears back. We're gonna equally through your right foot and left foot and pull your abs in. Then we're gonna walk those hands back down for forward fold. Pausing for a moment, hands wherever's comfortable for you. Take a gaze forward. Walk those hands forward into plank. So find your plank. Charge your legs. 4-point step, squeeze your elbows, use your triceps. Flat down the mat. Big toes together, back into child's pose. Pull your shoulder back. Then tuck your toes under, back to downward facing dog. Walk those hands back to join your feet. So as many hand steps as you need. Again, we're just warming up the body, moving it. Walk those hands up your legs. Find your mountain. Use over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Abs pulled in. Walk those hands back down for forward fold. Then from forward fold, we're gonna root through your heels. Wiggle your toes and sitting back in a chair. Just sinking through your hips. Think about your chair. Knees are gonna track towards your second and third toes, so just turn them out slightly. What that does is engages all of your quad muscles. We're gonna press up to tall mountain, so root through your feet. Tuck your tailbone under. Use your legs to press up to tall mountain. We're gonna sit back down to chair. So this time we're gonna come into mountain. So you're gonna bring your hands down to your sides and coming up to mountain. Roll your shoulders back. You can stay neutral or press your hands slightly past. All this does is roll your shoulders back and get a bit more of a stretch from your sternum out. You can stay neutral or back. It's your choice. So find your mountain. You're gonna sit back in a chair. So wiggling your toes, sweep those arms back and forward and find that chair. You're gonna come back to mountain, neutral or slightly past, sitting back down to chair. Roll your shoulders back. Take a moment to really find your chair. I'm gonna press back to mountain, hands down to your sides, or slightly past, and sitting back down to chair. We're gonna do that twice more. So here's your chair, back into mountain. Exhale into chair. So sinking down the chair. Once more, we're gonna come back into mountain. We're gonna come back into chair. Arms are gonna stay long. We're gonna press up to tall mountain. So use your legs, press up, with or without a back bend. Sitting back down to chair. And back into mountain, hands down to your sides. Inhale back into chair. Exhale to tall mountain, keep your hands high. Inhale back into chair. And back into chair. Back into mountain, pardon me. So find your mountain, neutral. Just take a moment to really kind of wiggle from right to left. We're gonna come to balance. We're just gonna check your balance. Weight equaling your right foot and left foot. Feel free to move alongside a wall, grab a chair, even turn away from wherever you're watching this video. Listen to my voice, you don't have to see. Focusing on your balance. And it can differ from day to day, from class to class. So weight is equal in your right foot and left foot. We're gonna shift the weight over to your left foot, or your left knee back, and just bring your right foot off the mat. Just take a moment to adjust, to accommodate. Then we're gonna come back to mountain. Pull your right knee back, this way your standing leg. Shift over to your right foot, and bring your left foot off the mat. So take a moment to really feel the transition. And then how does your body adjust to accommodate? Then we're gonna come back to mountain. We're gonna shift over to your left side slightly and bring your right foot off the mat. Right knee at 90 degrees. So now what does your body need to accommodate for that? Arms overhead is an option. Fingertips reaching the ceiling, arms are long, but we're gonna pull your shoulder blades down though. Now pull your left knee back, that's your standing leg. We're gonna hold here for 5. And then we're gonna make our way back to mountain. So find the mountain, shift over to your right foot, pull your right knee back, and then bring your left foot off the mat. And then take a moment to adjust and left knee in at 90 degrees or so. What do you need to accommodate? And then arms overhead. Fingertips reaching high to the ceiling, but pull the shoulder blades down. Pull your right knee back. Pull the abs in. And then we're gonna bring your left foot back down, find your mountain, and then we're gonna walk those hands down for forward fold. Pausing for a moment to take a look behind you, bend your knees, take a look at the top of your mat. We're gonna walk your hands forward, so back in a plank. Find that plank position, walk those feet back if you need to. Find your plank, 4-point staff, squeeze those elbows in, flat the mat. We're gonna reverse it. So you can use your knees, or not, pull your belly button in and press back to plank. So find your plank, and then back to down facing dog. So once more, we're gonna come forward to plank. Use your knees if you want. We're gonna lower yourself straight down to 4-point staff, squeeze your elbows, you're using triceps, and reverse it, press back to plank. So it's not a push-up. A push-up is a bit, your hands are further apart, and then back to down facing dog. From here, we're gonna walk your feet forward to join your hands. So as many footsteps as you need. Now you're towards the top of your mat. Forward fold for a moment, then walk those hands up, make your way to mountain. So mountain, ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. We're gonna shift the weight back into your left foot. So we're gonna come back to balance. Weight over to your left foot, and bring your right foot up 90 degrees. We're gonna bring your arms overhead. Now we're gonna change directions. So we're gonna pull your left knee back. We're gonna kick your right foot forward and thread it through, kick it back. So you're just changing direction. You're not worried about where you're going. So kind of recorrect, then bring it back 90 degrees, and then back to mountain. So we're just changing directions. We're gonna add on, we're gonna build on. So finding your mountain, weight over to your right foot, bring your left knee up, kick your left foot out, and then tuck it under and kick it back towards behind you. Not worried about how high the left leg is, but just changing direction. It adds dimension to that balance. Bring that left knee up back 90 degrees, and then back to mountain. So find your mountain. What it looks like for you. I'm gonna walk your hands down for forward fold. Hands to the mat. Now we're gonna walk, or we're gonna jump our feet back into plank. So your choice. Find your plank. Together, we're gonna come back to the 4-point staff. We're gonna press back to plank, and back to down facing dog. We're gonna extend the right foot back for 3-legged dog. So you're gonna still reach your left heel, pull your left knee back. You're not worried about how high the right leg is because you're gonna focus on your left leg. You're still feeling the stretch along your left fascia. Now we're gonna take your right knee, bring it in towards your forehead, pausing for a moment, and then look forward and step your right foot through. So here's lower lunge. Both sets of toes are facing forward. You're gonna roll your shoulders back, sweep your arms forward and up, come to high lunge. Draw your left leg back. So really feeling the ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. The right knee is gonna track towards your second and third toe. It wants to track towards your big toe, but trying to avoid that. Draw your left leg back. Hands in heart center. Press your palms together. Roll your shoulders back. Fingertips back up towards the ceiling. We're gonna cartwheel those hands on either side of your right foot and step back to plank. So find that plank. Starfish hands. 4-point step straight down the mat. Use your triceps. You can use your knees or not. We're gonna press back to plank and back to down facing dog. We're gonna step your left foot back. So really focusing on the right heel, right knee. Feeling the right side being stretched. Then pull the left knee in towards your forehead. Pause. Step your left foot through. Here's lower lunge. Both sets toes are facing forward. And then slowly bring your hands up. So take a moment to find your lunge. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, and draw your right leg back. Feel free to come to that knee if you like. Pull those abs in. Hands in heart center when you're ready. Scoop those abs in. Left knee wants to track towards your second and third toe. Fingers up towards the ceiling. And then we're gonna cartwheel those hands to your side of your left foot and step back to plank. Find your plank. Here's 4-point staff. Squeeze your elbows. Here's your triceps. We're gonna reverse the press back to plank and back to down facing dog. We're gonna step the right foot back. Draw your left knee back. Right knee towards your forehead. Pause for a moment and step your right foot through. Here's lower lunge. Both sets toes facing forward. And sweep your arms up. Here's high lunge. Feel free to come to that left knee. Then we're gonna draw your elbows up to your sides. A chance to stretch your chest. Draw your left leg back. Bring your hands at our center. Bring your chest back up towards the ceiling. And then we're gonna slowly bring your hands down the either side of your right foot. We're gonna stay here. So we're gonna pause for a moment and lower lunge. Take your left hand right alongside your right foot. So the left thumb is gonna touch your right foot. That's where I want you to be nice and snug. You're gonna let your left shoulder roll down. Take a twist. So take your right hand out to your side. And then take a moment to stack your shoulders. Now reach your right hand to the ceiling and draw your left leg back. So those left toes have stayed facing forward. Feel free to come to your knee, but let the twist happen through the shoulders, through the spine. Reach your right hand a little higher. Then we're going to slowly bring your right hand back to the mat. So you're going to square yourself. Step the right foot back to plank. Find your plank. Here's 4-point step, straight down the mat. I'm gonna reverse it. I'm gonna press back to plank and back to down facing dog. We're gonna step the right foot back. So rooting your left heel. You're gonna bring your right knee towards your forehead, pause for a moment. Then look forward, step your right foot through. Here's lower lunge. So both sets toes facing forward. And slowly come up to high lunge. So take a moment to find that lunge. Draw your left leg back, ears over shoulders. Hands at heart center for a moment. So correct. Fingers just back up towards the ceiling. And then draw your elbows up to your sides to open up your chest, your shoulders. See that you see your right big toe. Hands at heart center. Fingers up towards the ceiling. And then we're gonna release and step back to plank. So we've done twice on that same side purposely to fatigue it. So here, we're gonna come back to 4-point staff. We're gonna reverse it. We're gonna step back. Now we're gonna bring your left foot back. So twice on your left leg. We'll step your left foot back, pull your right knee back, bring your left knee towards your forehead, pause, and step your left foot through. So both sets toes facing forward. I think I just did this side. So we're gonna come back to down facing dog, and we're gonna step the right foot back. Bring your right foot through. I think I just did this. Hands at heart center. Fingers back up towards the ceiling. Draw your elbows into your sides to open up your chest. And hands at heart center. We're gonna bring your hands down. Placing your right thumb right alongside your left foot, pull your belly button in. Feel free to come to that right knee. We're gonna take your fingertips out towards your side, and then take your left hand to the shoulders, stack your shoulders. Draw your right leg back and lift your left hand up. So a chance to really stretch that chest, twist the spine. Feel free to travel to that right knee, but try to keep both sets of toes facing forward. You're gonna bring your left hand back down the mat. So you're gonna re-square yourself and step the left foot back. We're gonna come back to plank. Here's 4-point staff. We're gonna press back to plank. Keep your core engaged. Press back to down facing dog. We're gonna step your left foot back again. Left foot through for lower lunge. Bring your hands up. Hands at heart center. Fingertips back up towards the ceiling. Elbows up to your sides to open up your chest. Hands back to heart center. Then bring them down to either side of your left foot. Step back to plank. Find your plank. Here's 4-point staff straight down the mat. We're gonna press back to plank. Back to down facing dog. Then we're gonna walk your hands back to join your feet. So as many hand steps as you need. Find your forward fold for a moment. Then walk those hands up. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Find your mountain. From mountain, we're gonna slowly walk your hands down for forward fold. Just get moving your spine for a moment. Take a look behind you. And I'm gonna sit back in the chair. So here in chair, we wanna shift the weight back more in the balls of your feet, let your toes wiggle. So here you're in chair. So it's sinking through your hips. Think about what your knees are. And then we're gonna start to stretch out your hips. So you're in chair, we're gonna shift over to your right foot and bring your left foot off the mat and cross it over. So a figure 4 position. Trying to still lifting through your crown so we're not just rounded forward, and you're gonna bend through the right knee. The left foot comes across your right thigh, not into the knee joint. You're gonna stretch out your left hip, hands on heart center. So just sinking through your knees, that right knee, pull your abs in. So here is a one-legged pigeon. We're gonna hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna slowly make your way back to chair. Shift the weight over to your left foot slightly, and then bring the right foot across. So again, you're flexing through your hip. And roll the shoulder back. Take a moment. Hands at our center. Respect the difference from right to left. Scoop your abs in. Breathing for 5. Just really a chance to stretch your hip. Work that left leg a bit. And then we're gonna make our way back to chair and come back to forward fold. So lifting your sit bones, hands wherever's comfortable for you. We're gonna shake your head yes and no for a moment. And then we're gonna walk those hands up, make your way back to mountain. From mountain, we're gonna bring ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Just tuck your tail in under. We're gonna come back to downward. So we started this beginning of class, just rooting equally. And shift the weight over to your left foot, and then bring the right foot up 90 degrees or so. So take a moment to adjust, to accommodate. Then arms up overhead, fingertips reaching high to the ceiling, and draw your shoulders down. Now kick the right foot forward. Now we're gonna change direction. So we're gonna bend the right knee. We're gonna kick the right foot behind you though, pointing your toes. Drop the right hip and pull your left knee back. So you're trying to bring that body somewhat parallel with the mat. It's a lot of core for warrior 3. We have 5 to go here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna slowly bring that right knee at 90 degrees. Take a moment as you change direction. Draw your left leg back, hands at heart center. Take a moment, not rushing coming out of the balance. And then back in a mountain. Don't be afraid to be challenged, even in balance. It's so important to work on balance as we age. So we're gonna take the weight over to your right foot. So you equally shift over to your right foot, pull your right knee back, and bring your left foot up. So whatever that looks like for you, it feels like for you. Abs engaged. Then arms overhead. Fingertips reaching high to the ceiling. You're gonna pull your shoulder blades down, pull your right knee back. Then kick your left foot forward, really engage with the leg, and then you're gonna change direction. So kick your left foot back, point your toes, pull your right knee back, hinging through your hips. So reaching fingertips and those left toes opposite directions. Try to bring your left leg a little higher and really trying to extend across the knee. We have 5 here. Go ahead and kick the left leg a little higher, pull the right knee back. And then we're gonna slowly bring that left knee 90 degrees or so. So take a moment, and then hands at heart center, and then back in a mountain. So find your mountain. Then we're slowly gonna turn over your right shoulder and use the length of your mat. So just walk your feet out so your toes are pointed kind of towards your corners of your mat. If you're not all the way using your mat, but kind of towards, then you're gonna bring your shoulders over hips, tailbone tucked under. So you're not sitting back into a chair. Arms are gonna be long. We're gonna turn so your palms are facing up, but bring your fingertips and thumbs together so your palms are flat. Now engage your core. Then we're gonna let your knees drop more towards your second and third toe, and you're just gonna drop down that plie squat. So again, it's not a chair. You don't have to worry about how high, how low you come, but just sinking through your knees. Reach your fingertips towards the front, to the back, to your right, to your left. Tailbone is tucked under, and just extending across those arms. Breathing and smiling, we have 5 here for Sun Goddess. Feel free to drop down. Again, you're not rolling forward, so recorrect. Turn your toes out, turn your knees out, really using those inner thighs here. Then we're gonna slowly press up. So we're gonna extend both your arms and your legs. Tailbone is tucked under, reach your fingertips high to the ceiling, and bring hands at heart center. Press your palms together so you're engaging your chest. Your elbows are not gonna come fall down. Forearms are gonna parallel the mat, then add that plie squat. So here's prayer squat. Tuck the tailbone under. Think about what your knees are tracking. Pull your abs in. We're gonna slowly press up to tall mountain, not tall mountain, fingertips to the ceiling. Hands to your right, your left, and then add that plie squat for Sun Goddess. Open through your chest. Think about your knees. They tend to wanna track towards your big toes. Make them work a little harder. Inhale, coming up. Hands at heart center, adding that squat for prayer squat. Inhale, coming up. Last time, we're gonna come back to Sun Goddess. Roll your shoulders back, reaching. Use your arms here. Turn your knees out, sinking back a little bit deeper. We have 5 to go here. So use your arms here. Pull your abs in, roll your shoulders back. Then we're gonna slowly press up. We're gonna turn your toes so they're pointed forward. Bring your hands out to your right, your left, and we're gonna hinge your hips. Take your hands and try to grab the outside of your feet. If that's not possible, you can walk your feet a little further apart. We're gonna shake your head yes and no, and lift your sit bones up. So feet further apart, further in, whatever feels comfortable for you. But your hand's gonna grab maybe along the outside of your feet, outside your ankle. Let your shoulders back, shoulders roll back, and lifting your sit bones up. So you're trying to root all 4 corners of your feet. Really just stretching the inner and outer thighs here for straddle forward fold. And then slowly bring your fingertips up towards your right, your left. We're gonna slowly come up. Then we're gonna step the right foot to join your left, arms come overhead. Press your feet together and sitting back down to chair. So this chair is we're gonna squeeze your inner thighs together. There's no space between your feet. Hands above your heart. Your hands in heart center. We're gonna shift forward and lift your heels off the mat. Now shifting your knees forward, draw your shoulders back. We tend to kind of sink forward in this chair. You're pressing your knees together, so you're not worried about turning your knees, tucking towards your second and third toe. You're gonna focus on your calf muscles here. Pull those abs in, you have 5 to go here. And then we're gonna slowly press your feet. Come back to forward fold, feet are together. Taking a look at your knees. We're gonna bend your knees and heel circle sweep up. With or without a back bend. We're gonna hinge halfway into airplane, so still legs are together. Arms are long, shoulder blades pulled back. Abs in, we're gonna come back to forward fold. And now circle sweep up. Hands at our center. And back into mountain. So if you haven't already, we're gonna turn to face the lengthways of your mat. Ideally being at one end, base, so the length of your mat's ahead of you. Then we're gonna slowly walk your hands down for forward fold. Pausing for a moment, so your feet are about hip level apart. You should be able to now see between your legs to take a look at the back wall. Then take your gaze looking forward and walk those hands forward and make your way forward into plank. So this plank, shoulders over wrists. We're gonna come down to our knees, even if you don't need to. We're gonna come down to left elbow forward, followed by your right. Palms are gonna stay flat on the mat. Shoulders are gonna come over your elbows. Then we're gonna bring your knees off the mat. So here's bent double plank. We tend to sink through your hips because that's easier. Being aware, really engaging your core. Scoop those abs in, keep your neck long and pull your shoulder blades back. Now, feel free to come knee meets your thigh. It's a level 1 option. Or staying off your knees and press your feet back. Now pull your abs in, we have 5 to go here. And then we're gonna slowly bring your knees down to the mat for just a break, a moment. It's not a rest, and then come back up to mental plank. Now scoop your abs in. We're gonna use your toes, we're gonna shift yourself forward. The shift is really slight, it's subtle. You come back to center, then shift over slowly to your right side. You come back to center, shift over to your left, again, it's really subtle. Back to center, back forward, and hold that for 5. Shoulder blades pull back, shoulders kind of wanna creep up. 3, 2, we're back to center, and then come down to our knees, big toes together, back into child's pose. So press back into child's. Here, we're gonna walk your hands forward, coming forward into plank, on your knees or not, lower yourself straight down to 4-point staff, and walk your hands forward. So hands are forward, feet are back, we're resting on our chin. So don't worry about looking at the camera or looking at wherever you are watching this. I want you to listen to my voice. So arms are long, legs are long, feet are not together. No, we're gonna pull your abs in wherever they are. We're gonna lift arms and legs off the mat and look forward. So trying to bring one rib off the mat, trying to be more of your thighs off the mat. But wherever you are, you let your belly go. So I want you to pull the core in. So feel that corset here. So your belly button should not be resting on the mat. Pull it in. Now pull your shoulder blades back. We're gonna hold this Superman for 5 more. Again, really focusing, if nothing else, on pulling your abs off the mat. You're really strengthening your back here. And then we're gonna slowly come down. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Big toes together and come back into child's pose. So listen to your back. You use a lot of back, so pull those abs in. Let your core transitioning you back. We're gonna come back to tabletop. So hands and knees. We're gonna tuck your hips and your chin under, round flex your spine. Then roll your shoulders back into cow. Back into cat. Back into cow. And then back into child's pose. So big toes together. Just make your way back into child's, whatever that looks like for you. Take a moment to breathe. And then we're gonna roll ourselves over onto our backs. Knees in the chest. We're gonna come in happy baby. So happy babies, we wanna bring our head and our spine on the mat. Roll your shoulders back. Knees are bent. And take your hands and grab the inside of each foot. Left has left, right has right. Now, you're gonna play, before we go anywhere else, I want you to play with more your knees are in towards your chest, the more of your low back's off the mat. So bring your knees further away and press more of the low back. So you're gonna feel wherever that feels comfortable for you. Low back off the mat, low back off. And then let your feet fall out to the sides. So a chance to really open up your inner thighs, even stretching some of the chest and the shoulders. Press your feet into your hands. So you're engaging and trying to stretch your legs here, but don't bring your head off the mat. So if you need to, just listen to my voice. Press your feet into your hands. Roll your shoulders back. Now, wherever you are, I want you to roll your shoulders back and trying to press your shoulder blades into your mat. You may not make contact, but at least you're trying. You're actively trying to stretch your chest here. Remembering to breathe. We have about 5 to go. And then we're going to slowly bring those heels back together, letting your feet escape, knees into your chest. And then we're going to bring your knees out to each shoulder blade to escape your rib cage. And then we're going to bring your knees back in. We're going to bring your hands down to your sides and press your feet up towards the ceiling where your feet are flexed or flat. Balls your feet over your hips, legs are long, pull your abs in. Now, roll your shoulders back and let your shoulder blades come onto the mat. Because we spend so much of our day rounded, that's our normal posture to have the shoulders off the mat. I want you to try to correct it here. Breathing. And then we're going to slowly bring your knees back into your chest, reach around and perhaps guide them, hold them. And then we're going to release one heel followed by the other. As we slowly let your feet fall away from midline, roll your shoulders back, hands come to rest to your sides. We're going to take a moment to close your eyes. And as we come into Shavasana, where we started class today, just finding the presence of your mat. Reconnecting to the breath. And all that means is being aware of the breath in and the breath out. Be mindful to how you feel at this moment. Be present. Then, if you haven't already, we're going to slowly open our eyes. We're going to slowly roll over to one side, it does not matter which, in the pose of the unborn child. Stacking your hips and your shoulders. And then we're going to come up to a seated position, crossing our legs. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, sitting nice and tall, but being rooted equally through your right foot and left foot. Abs engaged. Hands at heart center. Namaste.